One of the very major things we have to contend with in England is the fact that we've more or less lost London. If we have a look at all of the events that have happened over the last probably decade, I suppose, rising crime levels for one, businesses shutting, all of these traffic issues, all of these ULEZ issues and everything that just about makes the thing not very attractive to visitors. You've got to wonder what's going on and who's denying what's going on and what really has gone so wrong over this amount of time. Now, I want to start with this video here. This has done the rounds before, and it's a little piece with Sadiq Khan. Have a listen.
अगर मैं मुसलमान नहीं था तो ये कभी ये नहीं बातें कहते हैं और ये जो कंस्पिरेसी है कि मुस्लिम्स are taking over London ये कह रहे हैं कि the Islamification of the UK और जो लफ्ज़ इस्तेमाल करते हैं ना London Islam.
Now, it was obviously in, is it Urdu or whatever his native tongue is? Somebody correct me on that. But one thing that stands out when you get that clip translated, I think really it means that he's trying to claim that the taking over of London or the taking over of the UK by a certain demographic is wrong, is a conspiracy theory and isn't actually happening. Now, okay, let's just listen to that. And you also listen to him talking about inclusivity, and London is a city for everybody, and it's one of the best cities in the world and one of the safest cities in the world. I live on the coast. I live in a coastal town, and I have need to go into London every now and again. And I tell you, I hate it. So my judgment is probably biased to an extent, but I've gone into London many times over the years, probably going back 20 to 30 years. And I have memories of the place at a certain point in time. And I compare it to now, and it's not the same London, not by any stretch of the imagination. There are various building projects going on all over the place, and you have to wonder who's going in them. There was a tower block I read something about. I think it was a whistleblower, and it was literally millions of pounds going into the place, and it was no longer going to be apartments. It was going to be a hotel. Guess who for? You've got all of these ultra low emission zone schemes, which are just, horrible. And you've also got rising crime levels, and you have to wonder who is responsible. Where does the blame lie for that? And what can we do about it? Of course, you've got the matter of, certain events aren't allowed to progress down the high streets, whereas others are. So you get an impression that a certain demographic is probably the most way I can put it, is very much dominant over, something else. Now, I want to show you something here. And I was doing a little bit of digging around about what London used to be. Now, I think it's worth taking a bit of a nostalgia trip with this one. So this is on X. I literally did a search of old video footage of London. You can see here a beautifully restored film of London in 1943. And you can see the change there, well, pretty much immediately, really. Unbelievable, isn't it? Absolutely. Here's another one, a family walking London in 1961 from an 8mm cine film, The Charm of Britain in the 1960s, complete with vintage cars. That's from 1953. It's probably the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. 1940s again, London in the 1950s. And you can tell it's just a completely and utterly different way of life to what we're all experiencing in London now. You know, typical Londoners having a fag and a cup of tea, and a lot of the construction work going on there. 1964, even earlier, 1900, and so on and so on and so on. And it looks like just normal life. And some of you who watch this stuff probably are very struck by, oh, I remember that, or yes, back in the day I wore that thing, or, you know, whatever. It was a busy, bustling town and city. And in Rupert Lowe's own words, I saw him use, London was a place to be. Everybody wanted to be there, literally everybody. And now people don't want to be. They want to get out. They want to avoid the hustle and the bustle and everything else. And Sadiq Khan, quite how he gets in every time, denies the fact that a certain sector is becoming a lot more dominant. If you're in London, you look around you and, you know, tell me what's going on. You look at what's going on, the number of people that have got out. For example, where I live, they put a high-speed rail link in. Makes London an hour and a half, and we've had literally loads and loads of people moving out of the London area down to here. Now, if I pull this tweet up, I want to share with you. Look at the statistics. So Sadiq Khan says it's a conspiracy that Muslims are taking over London. So in 2001, the population in London was 8% of Londoners. In 2021, that rose to 15% of London's population. There are whole areas now that are completely Muslim dominated, and London has a Muslim mayor. It's happening. Now, when you drive into London, it always struck me when you walked into different parts of it or drove through different parts of it as an outsider, the very different people you would see as you were driving through each area, what they were doing, what they were up to, how they were dressed, and you could see different cultures all around. But now, in particular parts, you seem to see the same culture. And you have to wonder how Sadiq Khan gets in every now and then, because he's useless. And it's quite obvious who controls London now. And it's not the English, not by a long shot. And when you look at the political situation for a moment, you look at the current mayor we have, and you look at the candidates that are being put up as mayor of London, you know, what's being spoken about as mayor of London, because of the demographic and because of the party political situation within London, you are not going to win that vote, which at the end of the day, party political people are after, unless you put in a similar mayor. They can give it the large one about they're going to cut crime, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to open businesses, they're going to attract investment and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, it's all about the vote. And you can always tell by who they put up, who they front up to try and rescue London, uptown. It's a very sad situation, but it's true. And, you know, that one tweet alone bears out a very sorry tale. And if you look on the internet at any statistic, any crime statistic, any picture, any diagram, any statement, it all paints a very similar issue. And last time I went up to London, it certainly didn't look anything like I remember. It certainly didn't look like anything of those few films I showed you. It's ever changing, and it's not the place to be anymore. I don't know what you think. Did you live in London? Have you escaped? Would you consider going there? Is it for the young? Should they get out as well? It's, you know, awful. There is a sector of people that say there's nothing wrong with it and would listen to what I've just said and say I was talking utter baloney. But at the end of the day, there's a big portion that won't. Who's the one that's right? Let me know what you think. As always, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share my stuff. I'll talk to you soon. Toodaloo.